Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the class. We are doing the chapter Civilizing the Native, Educating the Nation. And in this chapter, presently, we are doing how the British started to interfere in the vernacular education, how the British started to interfere in the Pathshala system which was existing at that time, and we have the report of William Adam regarding the schooling system which was prevailing at that time in Bengal and Bihar. And we have seen that the system was totally flexible, everything was flexible, and everything was according to the need of the students as well as the teachers. But the British wanted to interfere in the primary education as well. Firstly, they interfered only in the higher education. And we have seen that till 1830s they were only interfering in the higher education, but afterwards they started to interfere in the primary education also. And in this regard, Wood's dispatch is very much important, which is an outline how the education system should be in India. And so after 1844, this we were discussing in the previous class, how they started to interfere in vernacular education. They appointed government pundits, and these pundits were supposed to be in charge of 4 to 5 schools, and they visited the Pathsalas. They tried to improve the standard of teaching. They convinced the gurus to follow the rules of the British, and the each guru was in charge of one Pathsala only, and the guru was supposed to give submit the periodic report. And here we also see that now everything was changed. The flexibility which was existing in the education system totally ended after 1854. The government started to control the education system. Everything was now fixed. There was no flexibility in fees, there was no flexibility in classes. The students have to attend the classes regularly. The classes were also separate. Then education annual examination system was also introduced. So everything was changed now. And here we also see that one more aspect was there, that there were some gurus who were not ready to accept the rules of the British. So the British, what they did, in order to make them obey the rules of the British in education, what they did, that the gurus who were working according to the rules of the British, they started to give them financial aid. And because of this financial aid, the Pathsalas which were following the rules of the British East India Company, they started to get this financial aid. And because of this financial aid, they improved a lot. They made so many advancements. But at the same time, the Pathsalas, the gurus which were not ready to accept the rules of the British, they were not given any kind of financial aid. So they were in loss. So this was the measure adopted by the British to convince, to force all the Pathsalas, all the gurus to follow the rules of the British. Okay, so we have done up to this, and now we see there was a new agenda for a national education. Okay, so now we will see the agenda for a national education. Okay. the agenda for a national education. So we see that there were other peoples also. Now we are going towards national education. What we have read up to this, अभी तक हमने क्या पढ़ा कि ब्रिटिश क्या कर रहे थे, ओरिएंटलिस्ट थे. They were of the opinion that the Asian culture, the Asian language, the Asian literature should be promoted. The people of India should be given education in their own language. They should be given education about their own text and all. And then we have seen that there were critics of Orientalists, and these critics of Orientalists were stronger because everything changed according to the critics of the Orientalist only. है ना, वुड्स डिस्पैच आया जिसमें गाइडलाइन था, आउटलाइन था कि कैसा होना चाहिए एजुकेशन सिस्टम, एंड एवरीथिंग वाज चेंज्ड अकॉर्डिंगली. So now what we are going to see कि what was there were others in India who were thinking about education, है ना. और भी लोग थे जो Indians थे, they were Indians, and they had a different view about education. So what was the agenda for national education? Okay, so now we will focus on those people, on those thinkers from different parts of India who were talking of the need for a wide spread of education, है ना. ये इंडियंस हैं जो चाह रहे हैं, इनका क्या व्यू पॉइंट है, व्हाट इज देयर व्यू पॉइंट, द व्यू पॉइंट ऑफ some thinkers from India about education, है ना. There were Indians who were very much impressed with the development in Europe, and these Indians who were very much impressed with the development in Europe, they wanted that Western education can only modernize India. Okay, and they were of the opinion that the British should open more schools, more colleges, more universities, and they should spend more money on education. ठीक है, तो इंडियंस का क्या व्यू पॉइंट था वो हम देख रहे हैं. तो ऐसे में देयर वर सम, लाइक हर जगह पीपल हैव डिफरेंट ओपिनियन, है ना. तो सम इंडियंस आर ऑफ द ओपिनियन कि हमें वेस्टर्न एजुकेशन के अकॉर्डिंगली चलना है, जस्ट लाइक द पीपल हु वर अगेंस्ट द ओरिएंटलिस्ट. तो ये जो लोग थे इंडियंस थे, बट दे वर ऑफ द ओपिनियन कि हमें वेस्टर्न एजुकेशन सिस्टम को ही अडॉप्ट करना होगा, and the British have the responsibility to educate the people of India. They should open more and more schools, colleges and universities and all. ठीक है, तो ये एक group of people था who belong to India, because we are talking about national education. National means अपनी country के लोग, what was their opinion. Okay, now we see there were other people also, other thinkers also, Indian thinkers, Indian people who were against the Western education, who did not want that the Western education system should prevail in India, that should be started in India. And in these people, two names are very much important for us to understand their views, and these people are Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore. So first of all, we will see this under this agenda for a national education. What was the view of Mahatma Gandhi regarding education? Okay. The view of Mahatma Gandhi on education. So first of all, we see that Mahatma Gandhi was of the opinion that colonial education created a sense of inferiority in the minds of Indians. Because of colonial education, because of Western education, what happened to Indians, that they started to think that we are inferior to the Western people, we are inferior to the Western world. They started to see Western civilization as superior, and actually this colonial education destroyed the pride they had in their own culture. Actual slavery जो आती है, slavery यहाँ होती है, हमारे दिमाग में होती है. How we become slave? किसी के भी at the level of individual also you can think, at the level of group of people you can also think, at the level of a country you can also think. कैसे एक individual या एक group of individual या एक country किसी दूसरे का slave क्यों बन जाता है? We were slaves at that time. क्यों? क्योंकि ये slavery यहाँ start होती है जब हम ये सोचते हैं कि we are inferior to someone else. जो हमसे जो दूसरे हैं वो हमसे सुपीरियर है. वहीं से ये स्लेवरी स्टार्ट होती है. तो दिस वाज द ओपिनियन ऑफ महात्मा गांधी विच इज़ 100% ट्रू कि इंग्लिश एजुकेशन ने हमें एनस्लेव कर दिया, हमें स्लेव बना दिया. हमारा जो अपने कल्चर में, अपने लैंग्वेज में, अपने लिटरेचर में, अपने टेक्स्ट में जो हमारा प्राइड था, the pride was destroyed. Because of colonial education, we started to think, most of the Indians, even today the same condition is prevailing, we started to think that the Western world is superior to us, the Western people, the Western civilization, the Western culture, the Western literature, everything which is Western is superior to us. So this is the beginning of the slavery. इस तरह से एक्चुअली अगर हम देखें तो वेस्टर्न एजुकेशन को इंडिया में स्टार्ट करने के पीछे जो मेन रीज़न था वो यही था, स्लेवरी को प्रोलॉन्ग करना, ज़्यादा दिनों तक इंडिया को अपने कंट्रोल में रखा जा सके. एक चीज़. दूसरा क्या था? इकोनॉमिक. when the Indians will become aware of English culture, English education, English literature, they will become aware of the English lifestyle, and they will try to purchase those things which are made in Britain. तो उनको एक मार्केट मिल गया. तो these were the two purposes actually. ब्रिटिश एजुकेशन, इंग्लिश एजुकेशन को इंडिया में स्टार्ट करने के पीछे यही दो रीज़न था. पहला कि अपने रूल को कैसे हम प्रोलॉन्ग करें, कैसे इनके माइंड को इंस्लेव करें, आपको इन्फीरियर बताएं, जबकि हमारा कल्चर, हमारा लैंग्वेज, लिटरेचर, एवरीथिंग वाज सुपीरियर. नॉट, वी कांट से कि सुपीरियर, बट वी वर स्टैंडिंग एट अ लेवल. जो हमारा इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन था, जो हमारे एंशिएंट टाइम में जो हमारे अचीवमेंट्स थे साइंस और साइंस, मेडिसिन, इन सब फील्ड्स में, वो सब को ज़ीरो कर दिया गया. तो ये था माइंड की स्लेवरी. और इसी बात को गांधी ने बहुत ही बढ़िया से पॉइंट आउट किया है कि इसने, इंग्लिश एजुकेशन ने हमें स्लेव बना दिया, है ना. ये जो एजुकेशन है, अकॉर्डिंग टू महात्मा गांधी, देयर वॉज पॉइजन इन दिस एजुकेशन. इट वॉज सिंफुल, इट एनस्लेव्ड इंडियंस, इट कास्ट एन एविल स्पेल ऑन देम. एक एविल स्पेल, एक बुरी जो सोच है वो हमारे डेवलप हो जाती है बिकॉज ऑफ दिस कॉलोनियल एजुकेशन. वी आर चार्म्ड बाय द वेस्ट. हमको वेस्ट जो है वो बहुत चार्मिंग लगता है, वो हमें अट्रैक्ट करता है. अपनी जो चीज़ें हैं वो हमें बुरी लगती है, वो हमें इन्फीरियर लगती है. एंड द वेस्ट सीम्स टू बी चार्मिंग, इट अट्रैक्ट्स, we appreciate everything that came from the West. And mind it, this condition is not something which was prevailing at that time only. Even today we are feeling the same way. So this is slavery. Though we are a free country at present, still if we see from the point of view of culture, we are slave to the Western culture. Because आज भी यही ओपिनियन है कि जो भी वेस्टर्न है वो अच्छा है, वॉट एवर इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द वेस्ट इज गुड, है ना। तो ये जो चीज़ें हैं वो उस समय से स्टार्ट हुई, है ना। और महात्मा गांधी का ये भी कहना था, ही वॉज ऑल्सो ऑफ द ओपिनियन दैट द इंडियंस who were given education in these institutions which were established by the British, where the Western education was imparted, these people, they started admiring British rule in India. They became admirer of the British rule in India. आपको education जो है क्या है, जब हमको education ये हमारे डार्कनेस को दूर करता है। अज्ञान क्या होता है? अंधकार होता है, ज्ञान प्रकाश होता है। तो एजुकेशन से आपको नॉलेज मिलता है जो कि डार्कनेस ऑफ इग्नोरेंस को ख़त्म कर देता है और आपको लाइट ऑफ नॉलेज से आपको अवेयर कराता है। बट यहाँ क्या हो रहा है? After becoming educated in Western education system, after becoming educated in the Western education system and in the Western institutions, what happened that the Indians started to admire British rule. The British rule, which was totally based on the on the principle of injustice, on the principle of inequality, on the principle of exploitation, that British rule was started to be admired by the Indians who were given education in these institutions. So that was not true education, क्योंकि आपको सही जो नॉलेज है वो तो हुआ ही नहीं। जो सिस्टम एक इनइक्वालिटी पर बेस्ड है, जो सिस्टम एक्सप्लॉयटेशन पर बेस्ड है, जो सिस्टम ये कह रहा है कि हमारा रेस आपके रेस से सुपीरियर है, आप उसको कैसे, हाउ कैन यू एडमायर दैट रूल? तो एजुकेशन was becoming useless. So this was the opinion of Gandhi, है ना। He wanted an education that could help Indians recover their sense of dignity and self-respect. Education का ये मतलब होता है आप अपनी पहचान बनाइए, आपकी अपनी पहचान होनी चाहिए। किसी दूसरे को एडमायर करके आपकी योर लाइफ इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू बी फुलफिल्ड, कि आप किसी दूसरे को एडमायर कर रहे हैं, किसी दूसरे के हिसाब से चल रहे हैं, दैट इज़ नॉट एजुकेटेड पर्सन क्वालिटी। तो अगर आप सही में एजुकेशन आपको मिल रहा है, इफ़ यू आर अ नॉलेजेबल पर्सन, यू मस्ट हैव अ सेंस ऑफ डिग्निटी, यू मस्ट हैव अ सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट, विच वॉज लैकिंग इन दिस वेस्टर्न एजुकेशन सिस्टम, है ना। तो ये डिग्निटी और ये सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट को आपको रिकवर करना है। एजुकेशन सिस्टम ऐसा होना चाहिए जो कि इंडियंस को फिर से वापस उनकी सेंस ऑफ डिग्निटी, उनका सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट वापस दिला सके। ये कैसे होगा? When we will be given education in our own language, we will be taught our own literature, है ना। तो ये तो हो ही नहीं रहा था, आज भी नहीं हो रहा है ना। तो this is the we can say a kind of dilemma is existing still today. दो ये चीज़ें जो हैं आज भी एक बहुत बड़ा डिबेट का ये इशू है जो हमारा प्रेजेंट एजुकेशन सिस्टम है। इट्स अ वेरी बिग इशू ऑफ डिबेट। तो ये चीज़ें आज भी हो रही हैं, ठीक है। बट इट ऑल स्टार्टेड विथ दिस ब्रिटिश रूल ओनली, एंड देयर वर पीपल लाइक महात्मा गांधी, रविन्द्रनाथ टैगोर, many other people, many other thinkers who were of the opinion that the Indians should be given education in such a way that they should recover their sense of dignity and self-respect. And during the national movement, Gandhi also urged students to leave educational institutes, है ना। ये हुआ भी था बहुत सारे जब अभी आप लोग आगे पढ़ोगे 1921 में जब नन कोऑपरेशन मूवमेंट हुआ, तो बहुत सारे जो स्टूडेंट्स थे उन्होंने गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स, गवर्नमेंट कॉलेजेस को लीव किया, छोड़ दिया, दे ड्रॉप्ड, क्योंकि द इंस्टीट्यूशन वाज ब्रिटिश, है ना। तो ये दिस वाज द अपील ऑफ महात्मा गांधी। एंड महात्मा गांधी ने अपने बच्चे को, अपने बेटे को कभी भी उन्होंने ब्रिटिश इंस्टीट्यूशंस में नहीं दिया, वहाँ उनका एडमिशन नहीं कराया। दो वो खुद इंग्लिश एजुकेशन में ही पढ़े हुए थे, लंदन भी गए थे, एवरीथिंग वाज, बट दैट वाज हिज इग्नोरेंस एट दैट टाइम, ही वाज नॉट नोइंग, है ना। तो वो उनका डिसीजन नहीं था, वो उनके पेरेंट्स का डिसीजन था. बट एज अ पेरेंट ही टुक डिसीजन कि अपने बच्चे को ना, तो उन्होंने मतलब किसी भी इंडियंस के लिए उनका यही कहना था कि दे शुड नॉट बी टॉट इन वेस्टर्न इंस्टीट्यूशंस, ब्रिटिश इंस्टीट्यूशंस, और अपने बच्चे के लिए भी उन्होंने वही सेम चीज़ उन्होंने अडॉप्ट किया. तो दिस वॉज द ओपिनियन, and there are many more things about Gandhi on education. So we will continue with this in the next class.